Welcome to another Baka commentary video. In this video will be my analysis and impression on the new 9000 series CPU that AMD has launched. So, the officially 9000 series excuse for now has been all out officially, and since I'm late to the party, I'm not going to bore you with all the performance thing, but rather I'm going to give you a quick summary and then my analysis slash impression on the launch. So the R9 CPU is required to use this special thing known as Windows Game Bar, which and on top of with all the 9000 with all Ryzen CPU, it seems there's a Windows bug and that you need to have a Windows admin account that will for the best performance. And few reviewers that managed to talk to Microsoft and few people I have talked to is like, yeah, this will eventually will be fixed, the Ryzen bug. And as for the for Game Bar, the status on that is we're probably gonna have to keep using Game Bar. However, if you don't want to be doing all this Windows special admin account instead of just your regular admin access account and needing Game Bar, well, Linux seems to be working fine out of box for the R9 CPU. The one, however, if you're willing to take about, 10% performance cut and you want to work out of box, Windows, the R9000 series, you probably best want to stick to the R5 and the R7. They are pretty good CPUs out of box, but however, AMD seems to really left a lot of headroom for for overclocking, or as they now call it, the PBO boosting, where if you have bigger coolers slash water cooling, air cooling, they have like PBO setting 1 to whatever 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever you pick a setting that you like, and that will give you more performance. But at the same time, it will get you more heat as a result of these increased performance. R5, that doesn't seem to have drastic performance increase from stock as one. It's pretty, as 6 cores and out of box TDP, it seems pretty reasonable, and voltage curve seems pretty reasonable. And the performance increase, is it gonna get you a performance increase? Yes, but however, not as much as the R7 9700X, which gets good amount of performance increase. Thanks to out of box, it is extremely TDP limited, which seems to be all the problem with the 70X AMD CPUs. On top of as that's normally known as the entry level mid end AMD silicon, and AMD wants to generally push you to the 800 series chipset, 800 CPU, where out of box it is much more less TDP and voltage constrained. But however, if you're someone that is willing to be like, hey, I'm just gonna do some little bit turning on PBO and turning on, to release the TDP, like unlock the TDP, the R7 700 series, or in this case 9700X, is a great CPU to buy when the 9800X or when the 9700X drops in price. But this has also resulted in a lot of the AMD fanboys be like, oh no, the new 9000 series, stock, AMD made it so efficient, which some reviewers debunked. But however, those AMD fanboy delusions still copium, be like, AMD 9000 series is efficient, really efficient. We don't care. And if AMD just happened to give us a really efficient CPU. Do I think that's the case? Yes, 9000 series is efficient. However, it's not really worth it right as of right now of writing this video. Then, so now let's give me my analysis as an actual impression now that the summary done. 9000 series have launched immature, and the communication to the vendors and to the reviewers was extremely lacking, as multiple reviewers and vendors were like, what is going on with these CPUs? You want to recall them, but at the same time, or you're gonna give it to us way too late for us to really do any marketing helping you to get our employees to stock the shelves with. It's like, it's not enough time. On top of, there is no new motherboard 800 series chipset, which still uses the old AM5 600 series chipset when the 7000 series chipset came out. This, plus not a lot of extra performance out of the box from the 7000 series, a lot of the perception became 9000 series is a giant ripoff. Go buy the 7000 series. The 9000 series, yeah, they did bring something cool, like the new proper AVX implementation with all the AVX implementation, which is used by the workstation and data centers guys. Those guys love this 9000 series chip. For the data centers that need these proper AVX cheap chips, 9000 series is their go-to chip right now. And I wouldn't be surprised majority of 9000 series chip is targeted towards workstation and data centers that needed this. And again, considering how their competitors have recently really dropped the ball on the data center and workstation, I wouldn't be surprised if these things are sold out too. Majority of them are bought out by those two customers instead. However, this also is the next problem with AMD. AMD is using one design for all three SKUs, for all their market segment, their consumer end user, workstation, and data centers. Normally, most traditionally in the in the CPU space, each of the three market segment gets slightly different variant silicon, as different as I said. Each three market like to have different requirements. So gaming, the regular consumers, they really don't care about these AVX advanced stuff, but rather they want just raw performance. Efficiency comes as bonus for the ODMs. For most DIY users, they really don't care. They go, yeah, we're gonna go buy the beefy cooling and the really push it to the limit, and we want raw performance gen by gen. Data centers and workstation, they tend to require specific advanced stuff. However, for the data center, they want everything, which they want a lot of scaling, a lot of advanced instruction. And the workstation is one socket, basically very similar to data center, but unlike data center, they don't need scaling, and they just want one really powerful box of CPU, GPU majority of the time. And anything else is there to support the CPU and GPU and not hold them back. Data center, again, they have their own use case, but as a result of AMD trying to keep all three market segment into one, happy with one design, this has resulted in the 9000 series not really hitting well. For certain market segment, they love it, but for certain market segment, they hated it because simply this design was not designed for them. As well as I probably alluded in this video, The 9000 series silicon is immature and not ready for the BIOS and the operating system. For Linux, there's actually quite good amount of funding and a lot of engineering work. A lot of time, Linux is ahead of Windows. However, Windows is Microsoft black box. Microsoft decides what works with it, and a lot of time falls behind Linux. And result, some of the Linux features that help the R9 CPUs and the bug that loses performance, the 9000 series will not get implemented in time, thanks to AMD not giving them the time slash, and on top of, well, if there's any red flag that should have been to a lot of people, why is there new motherboards and only using an existing AGESA code update for the old motherboards to support the 9000 series? This also proves that AMD had not properly set up a proper platform, new AM5 platform that we typically we expect out of a new CPU, new motherboard platform, and new RAM, which again seem to be very much lacking on the motherboard and the CPU front. As one, we were still using the old 600 series, old 7000 and 7000 series review kits, and a lot of the standard, which again hamstrung the new 9000 series. For those people that are unaware, the new 9000 series could be using 6400 Expo RAM, and as well as, well, the more powerful 800 series chipset, the X870 and the X870E and the X7, the new B series. If you're on that, I think the B600 series are fine. A6 series are fine, but if you are the X platform, you really 900 series, you kind of need to wait for the X870 and the X870E boards to really get as much out of your 9000 series, and of course the new 6400 Expo RAM for the 9000 series CPU. Ultimately, yeah, that's it for my analysis, best impression, and summary of this AMD analysis on the new 900 series X series CPU. And yeah, if you like these videos, do the like and subscribe. And if you want to have more people aware of this channel, do share this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.